do you think we need to scrap the rule book for sex nowadays and be more open and free?
I do. I do. I think that scrapping the rule book is a huge one, right? And
Mm.
it takes being able to be in touch with what you really want. What do you really desire? So the fact that you are really desiring pleasuring your partner, that is a thing that you know really works for you. You get them off, and that gets you off.
Mhm.
That is a very cool. That's a very sexy thing. That being said, everybody has their own preferences. So, there are people out there who really don't want to make out, right? They're like, hey man, that's not that like, I don't like cuddling. I don't want to make out. And that's okay too, right? So, whatever your
Mm.
preferences, go out and find somebody else who also wants that preference, right? So there's, there, there's kind of there's a balancing act between, okay, so the person who doesn't want to ever kiss their partner, do they need to change a little bit to meet the needs of the person that they're with, right? So they don't want to make out, but maybe they should do a little bit of it. It kind of depends on how much you vibe with that person, because there's also the option that there's somebody else out there who really doesn't want to make out either, and then they met you and they're like, oh, thank God, I hate doing that. So
Yeah.
it's really figuring out what you need.
Now, I read somewhere that you used to be a stripper.
Yes,
Was it
yeah.
for 8 years? Now, I find I love speaking to people who have kind of unique job roles and stuff. But how did you find that kind of transition from your views on sex when you were younger to suddenly, when you went stripping, where men would see, you've seen maybe the lower class of men at times where they saw you as like a tool to get off on, to
Mhm.
then the transition to becoming a sex coach. Because I interviewed Alice Little. She was one of the most successful legal prostitutes in a brothel in, I think it was Las
Cool.
Vegas.
Cool.
Absolute lovely, beautiful person. But she would said she would go to the doctors, and because of her line of work, they would assume it's a sex act that had gone wrong, when it turned out to be appendicitis. There was all these kind of insanity things. Did you
Yeah,
find did you find that different? What was your views on people in that industry, and how do you think it changed your opinions and what people are attracted to? And did it shape you in any way? And then did it move you towards becoming a coach? It's maybe badly worded, but did it affect your views on sex and how people are attracted and what we get off by?
yeah. No, that's a great question, Ian. And yes, yeah. So working at the club shaped my worldview more, honestly, more than I expected it to. So I had no intention of being a stripper. So I did it late in life. I had always had all these really negative stereotypes about it. Like anybody
Hmm.
who works in that industry has got family issues or they're using drugs. Like those were the only options in my mind. And then I met a girl who was a dancer, and she was a friend of mine, and she was a burlesque performer, and I was doing burlesque at the time. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, burlesque is like fine because that's classy, that's art.
Yeah.